I still remember that morning. It's a moment I'll never forget, even if I live 100 years. My daughter, Ella, was standing in the doorway of our bathroom. She was only 7. Just a little girl. But that day, she looked like someone whose world had been broken. Her hands were small and shaking. Tears ran down her cheeks, quiet but strong. She was holding a mirror, but she couldn't speak. Her big, beautiful eyebrows, the ones she always loved, were gone. Not trimmed. Not messed up. Gone. In their place were 2 red, raw lines. Like someone had wiped away part of who she was. She looked at me with eyes full of pain. Eyes that usually sparkled with joy, now filled with sadness and shame. She had been so excited the day before. Picture day was coming. She had picked out her outfit all by herself, a yellow dress with sparkles on the sleeves. She had brushed her curly hair, practiced her smile in the mirror, and even asked me, "Mom, does my missing tooth make me look funny?" She was so happy. So full of life. But that morning, everything changed. The night before, I left her with my younger sister, Callie. Just for 1 hour. I had to go get cupcakes for Ella's class party. I thought it would be safe. Callie was family. She grew up with me. I trusted her. But what she did in that 1 hour broke something deep inside us. When I asked Callie what happened, she just laughed. She was sleeping, she said. I thought it'd be funny. Chill, it's just hair. Just hair? It wasn't just hair. It was Ella's confidence. Her pride. Her joy. It was the sparkle in her smile that was now gone. Ella refused to go to school. She buried her face in the couch, crying into a pillow. She didn't want anyone to see her. She didn't want to go to picture day. Not even for the rest of the week. I felt sick. I felt broken. I felt like I had failed to protect her. So I went to my parents. I thought they would be as shocked as I was. I thought they would be angry, upset, heartbroken. But they laughed. It's just a joke, my mom said. Siblings mess around. My dad didn't even look up. You're being dramatic again. Kids need thicker skin these days. Dramatic? My daughter had just been bullied the week before for wearing a unicorn sweater. She was already learning to be brave in a world that can be mean. She trusted her aunt. And now, she felt humiliated. This wasn't funny. This wasn't a joke. This was betrayal. Callie didn't even feel sorry. She doubled down, like she was proud of what she did. Draw the eyebrows back with a marker, she joked. Problem solved. My hands were shaking. I gripped my coffee mug so tight, I thought it would break in my hands. In that moment, something inside me cracked. Quietly. But completely. This wasn't just about eyebrows. This wasn't just about one bad joke. This was about years of me being the one who always had to be strong. Always had to be responsible. Always had to fix things. I was the one who worked hard in school. I got a scholarship. I had 2 jobs. I paid rent when I was only 18. I showed up. I worked. I tried my best. Callie didn't. She joked. She played around. She never worked, never cared about rules. She stayed at home with my parents, jobless, acting like the fun aunt who could do no wrong. And every time I asked my parents to be fair, they said the same thing. She's younger. She needs more support. You're stronger. You can handle it. But I wasn't strong anymore. I was tired. And now, my daughter, my sweet, kind, little Ella, was tired too. She didn't want to eat. She didn't want to play. She didn't want to go outside. She didn't even want to look in the mirror. All because someone she trusted, someone who said they loved her, made her feel ugly and small. and then laughed about it. And my family? They laughed too. They acted like we were the problem. That weekend, while Ella stayed home wrapped in her blanket, I started digging. I stayed up late every night searching things like what to do when a child is bullied by family, school picture policies, child therapy, legal protection. Can CPS get involved if your child has a breakdown? Not because I wanted to sue. Not because I wanted to cause trouble. But because I was scared. I thought, what if Ella starts crying at school and the teacher thinks something is wrong at home? What if the school calls child services and says I'm not protecting her? Would they say I was careless for letting her stay with Callie? Would they blame me? The next week, I made a choice. I told my parents I was done. I was moving out. I told them Callie would never babysit again. I told them Ella's feelings came first. Period. They laughed again. You're overreacting, my mom said. It was a little joke. You're punishing the whole family, she added. My dad looked at me coldly and said, if you can't take a joke, maybe you're the problem. That was it. I didn't say a word. I didn't cry. I didn't fight. I start planning. They thought I would move on. They thought I'd forget, forgive, laugh along. But they didn't know I had saved everything. I had every text, every voicemail. I had the secret video Callie had posted on her burner account. The one where she shaved Ella's eyebrows while she was sleeping. The one where she whispered, can't wait for school pics, and laughed. I had proof. I had fire. And I wasn't just doing this for revenge. I was doing this for Ella. For every child who has been hurt by someone who was supposed to protect them. For every kid who was told, it's just a joke, while they cried. I stopped talking to my family. For 1 whole month. No calls. No texts. No we still love you messages. They tried. They sent messages like, you're overreacting. She'll forget. Kids bounce back. But they were wrong. Kids don't just bounce back from being humiliated. Not when the people who hurt them say it was funny. Not when no one says, I'm sorry. That silence? It gave me something powerful. It gave me clarity. I realized I didn't need their kind of love. The kind of love that comes with guilt. The kind of love that only works if you stay quiet. The kind of love that says, you're too sensitive. I didn't need that. I needed to show Ella what real love looks like. And real love protects. Real love heals. Real love says, you matter. So I took action. I filed a protection order. This order made it illegal for Callie to babysit or be around Ella without an adult. Some people said that was harsh. But it wasn't harsh. It was right. When the judge saw the video, just 12 seconds long, his face changed. Callie's voice was in it. She won't remember in the morning, she whispered as she dragged the razor across Ella's face. The way she smiled in that video, it gave me chills. I also showed the judge messages from Callie's private account. She told her friends. It's just hair. It'll grow back. Maybe her mom will finally loosen up. My parents? They liked the post with a laughing emoji. I printed everything. Put it in a folder. I titled it Family Fun. The judge signed the protection order within the hour. I didn't tell my family about the court order. I didn't text. I didn't call. I didn't say a single word. I wanted them to find out on their own. The same way I found out about the pain they caused my daughter. And sure enough, it didn't take long. 2 days later, my mom showed up at my house. She was holding a tray of lemon bars. She smiled like nothing had happened, like this was just a normal day. Let's talk like adults, she said. I opened the door, just a little. Just enough to pass her the envelope. Inside was the court order. She opened it, her smile fading. She stared at the paper. Then she looked at me. "What is this?" "A joke," she hissed. "No," I said softly. "This is how adults talk." She stormed off. Angry. Hurt. Embarrassed. "You're tearing the family apart," she yelled as she walked away. But deep down, I knew the truth. They tore the family apart a long time ago. Not with this one act. But with 1,000 little choices. Like the time Callie scratched my bike and blamed it on the boy next door. And they believed her. Or when she stole money from my wallet and I got grounded. And they said, "She's just a kid." Or when I got into my dream university and my dad said, "Don't brag. Callie might feel bad." That's when the cracks began. This was just the moment I finally said, "No more." I was done staying silent. I was done pretending. And while they were busy sulking, calling me dramatic and too sensitive, I was busy building something new. Something strong. Something safe. Something better, for Ella. First, I found a therapist for her. Not someone who just played with toys and smiled. I wanted someone real. Someone who would help my daughter understand her feelings. I sat in on the first few sessions. I remember one quiet moment. Ella whispered to the therapist, "I thought they loved me. Why would someone who loves you hurt you like that?" My heart dropped. I didn't have an answer. But the therapist did. She knelt down, looked into Ella's eyes, and said, "Sometimes people think love means control. But real love never humiliates." Those words stuck with me. They opened my eyes. I couldn't just cut ties and walk away. I had to rewrite the story. I had to teach Ella that being hurt doesn't mean she has to stay quiet. I had to show her that speaking up is not mean, it's brave. So I sent her back to school. Not with eyebrows drawn on. Not hiding. Not ashamed. I got her a special headband. It was pink and had little sparkly stars on it. We called them Power Stars. I told her, "Every time someone laughs, it's because they can't handle how bright you shine." And she believed me. She smiled. That sparkle was coming back. Then, I did something bold. I sent a package. Not to Callie. But to every single person who had enabled her. Every cousin. Every aunt. Even my grandmother. The ones who said I was overreacting. The ones who told me to lighten up and let Callie have fun. Inside each package was a USB stick and a small note. The note said, "Watch what you laughed at. Then ask yourself, would you still laugh if it was your daughter?" I don't know how many of them actually watched the video. But I know this, the very next day, my uncle called me. His voice was shaking. He said, "I had no idea it was that bad." "I'm sorry." He didn't make excuses. He didn't defend anyone. And that moment, it wasn't about forgiveness. It was about something even more powerful. Accountability. But I wasn't done yet. This story needed to be heard. Not just in our family, but everywhere. Because I didn't want revenge. I wanted truth. I wanted it to be so loud that no one could pretend not to hear it. So, I did something no one expected. I booked a billboard. Not just any billboard. The biggest one in our town. The one in the center of the square. The one that stood tall over the farmers' market, the parades, the weekend festivals. Everyone in town passed that billboard. Including my parents, every Sunday on their way to church. They always wore their perfect family faces on those drives. But not this time. I uploaded one picture. It was Ella's school photo. She was wearing her sparkly headband with the power stars. Her eyebrows were still gone. But she was smiling. Not a scared smile. A brave one. A proud one. Next to her picture were big, bold white words on a black background. My aunt shaved my eyebrows while I slept. Mom stood up. The rest laughed. No names. No extra faces. Just the truth. And in a town like ours, that was enough. By that evening, my phone was blowing up. People were calling, texting, messaging. An old friend from high school wrote. I had to stop my car. That billboard made me cry. The school principal called. We're so sorry. Please tell Ella we're here for her. And then Callie messaged me. At 2 a.m. All lowercase, like someone trying to hide. How could you do this to me? I stared at the message. Then I typed back. Ask Ella. The next morning, I saw something I never expected. I had just dropped Ella off at school when I drove past the billboard. There was someone standing in front of it. It was my mom. She wasn't wearing her usual big coat or fake smile. She wasn't holding a tray of treats or acting like nothing was wrong. She was just standing there, looking up at her granddaughter's face on a giant sign. She looked frozen. Her eyes were wide. Her lips were slightly open. It was like she was finally seeing it. Not just the billboard, but everything. The truth. The truth she had laughed at. The truth she had helped cover. A grandmother who laughed when her granddaughter was hurt. Who said it was just a joke. Who clapped when cruelty was done with a smile. She didn't look powerful anymore. She looked small. She didn't call me after that. She didn't message or try to fix things. She just turned and walked away. And honestly, that was enough for me. A few months later, I made a big decision. I packed up everything. Our clothes. Our books. Our memories. But not the pain. That stayed behind. Ella and I moved to a new town. A place where people didn't whisper when they saw us. Where nobody said, that's the girl from the billboard. Here, we could breathe. We could begin again. Ella started at a new school. And this time, she wasn't the girl with a sad story. She was just Ella. And something amazing happened. She began to shine again. She made new friends. She helped other kids who were shy or scared. She stood up when someone was being picked on. She became a helper. A protector. She even joined her therapist's anti-bullying group. One day, she gave a speech at her school assembly. She stood in front of the whole class and said, kindness is better than coolness. And love is louder than laughs. Everyone clapped. Her teacher told me later, your daughter is a leader. She makes other kids feel safe. I smiled. Because that was the goal all along. As for me, I didn't miss my family. Not the old version of them. Not the ones who called me dramatic. Not the ones who laughed when Ella cried. Not the ones who told me to keep quiet. Because for the first time in my life, I was no longer quiet. I wasn't scared to speak. I wasn't scared to draw the line. I wasn't scared to say, enough. I protected my daughter. But I also protected me. The little girl I used to be. The one who was blamed when her sister lied. The one who had to be the strong one while others got away with everything. That little girl finally got a voice. And she used it. Sometimes, people ask me, do you regret the billboard? Do I regret the court order? The silence? The distance? Not even a little. Because silence is what they always wanted. They wanted me to hush. To move on. To forgive without healing. To protect the peace while my daughter cried in secret. But silence never helped me. And it wasn't going to help Ella. Now I teach her this. You can speak up. You can say no. You can protect your heart, even from people you love. You don't have to stay quiet just because someone says we're family. Family doesn't mean blind loyalty. Family means love, respect, safety. And if they can't give you that, you get to walk away. One day, Ella asked me a question. She was brushing her curls in front of the mirror, a little older now. She said, "Mom, do you think they'll ever say sorry?" I looked at her through the mirror and said, "Maybe. Maybe not. But you don't need an apology to be happy." She nodded slowly. Then she smiled and said, "Well, I'm happy anyway." And that was all I needed. We didn't need them anymore. Not their approval. Not their silence. Not their version of love that came with rules, guilt, and shame. What we needed, we had already found. Peace. Truth. And each other. Ella kept growing stronger. She started painting. Drawing pictures of girls with capes, stars in their hair, and big bright eyes. Sometimes, I'd ask, "Who's that?" She'd smile and say, "That's me." But also you. She saw me as a hero. But the truth is, she saved me, too. Her strength made me brave. Her tears made me fight. Her healing helped me heal. One evening, we sat on the porch, watching the sky turn orange. She leaned her head on my arm and asked, "Do you think they still talk about us?" I laughed softly and said, "Maybe. But it doesn't matter anymore." And it didn't. Because we were writing a new story. One filled with respect, honesty, and kindness. Not fake smiles. Not forced forgiveness. Not pain buried under birthday cake and polite lies. Sometimes the people who hurt you are the ones closest to you. And that makes it harder to speak. Harder to walk away. But I want you to remember this. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to say, "This isn't okay." You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to protect your child. Even from your own family. Love is not loud laughter after hurting someone. Love is soft protection. It's brave honesty. It's standing up even when your voice shakes. If someone ever tells you to get over it, or says, "You're too dramatic," or laughs when you cry, that's not love. That's control. That's manipulation. That's a red flag waving right in your face. We didn't fight for revenge. We fought for truth. For dignity. For healing. We fought to break a cycle that hurt too many for too long. And we won. Not because they said sorry. But because we found our voices and used them. We stood tall. We stood together. So this is what I leave with you. If someone breaks your heart and calls it fun, if they hurt your child and say you're too sensitive, if they blame you for their bad choices, draw the line. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for their apology. Don't let guilt trap you in silence. You are not too much. You are just enough to break the cycle. And that is more powerful than you'll ever know. And Ella? She's more than okay now. She's strong. She's kind. She's safe. And every time she puts on that sparkly headband with the little stars, she says, "These are my power stars. I wear them because I'm not afraid to shine anymore." And that is the ending we earned. Not by staying quiet, but by standing up. Loud. Brave. And unbreakable. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Also comment where you're watching from.